So good morning at the gas station again. As I said, I have a long commute, so I actually am filling up my tank every other day during the week. Now I want to talk about War and Peace. I'm going through an audiobook. It's 61 hours long, and I'm a third of the way through so far. It's actually, a lot more interesting than I thought it was. That said, it does have a lot of characters. Tolstoy writes it very well, so you focus on a specific characters, they're put in opposition, etc., etc. I want to talk about, I would call, the two main characters, Andre and Pierre. Pierre was an illegitimate son of a count, and actually these are all aristocrats. I don't know where they are in the Russian hierarchy. I don't care. He was illegitimate. He was brought up as a gentleman. His father acknowledged him. He became legitimized officially basically right when his father died. He inherits the title. He's a count. He's rich. He's got a lot of money, and he's a total fool. Then there's Andre. He's also in the nobility. His father is still alive. He's legitimate. They have their rural estates, and so does Pierre. And we follow these two young men. They're, I think, in their mid-20s when the book begins. And I'm already, I'm trying to remember, it starts in 1804 or something, and I think I'm up to 1809 now. And it's set during the Napoleonic Wars. And Andre is part of the Russian army at the very beginning, and he goes to the war. He's in the front, and he's in the Battle of Austerlitz, which Russia and I think Austria lost against Napoleon. During that battle, Andre is hit against the head. He had had dreams of glory. He grabbed the flag, yada yada, but he's flat on his back, staring at the sky. At which point he realized, you could say war is hell, but it's bullshit. The glory, all of that, it's meaningless. And he loves life, and he thinks of how little he valued what he should have, his family. His pregnant wife he left back at the royal estate with his father and his sister. Then there's Pierre. He's not in the army. He's been living it up, and he gets married. He just kind of falls into it. As I said, he's somewhat of a fool. He finds out his wife basically, runs around with men. He gets in a duel. And it's just by chance, he shoots the other guy. The guy, I think, was in the arm. The other guy doesn't die, thank goodness. But also, he has a crisis of, what does this mean? He abandons his wife. He gives her a very generous allowance. But he ends up adrift. And then he joins the Freemasons. He's at heart an idealist, and he loves the ideals of Freemasonry. He really believes, we need to perfect human society. We need everything to be more rational. And he has this program where he gets the idea, there's all of these liberal, and I mean the traditional liberal, but, progressives would be up there today. Let us save the oppressed. We're going to enlighten them. We're going to get them educated. I'm going to liberate my serfs, yada, yada. So then what? The difference is Andre and Pierre meet up with each other after each of their epiphanies, and they talk about their worldviews. And what is interesting is that Pierre talks about all these ideals, but he's totally incompetent. He can't execute a damn thing. He doesn't know how to run his estates. He has multiple estates. None of his serfs get freed. His head steward, of course, just play acts. He puts on these shows for him. He thinks they're being educated, and it's all a show. And in some cases, the policies Pierre asked for makes things worse for the serfs and the people in his communities. On the other hand, Andre will be talking about being totally selfish, and it's going to change. So the next time I talk about it, I'll talk about Andre's change of heart. So Andre says, I'm only looking out for myself. However, what did he actually do? He actually frees 300 of his serfs. And the argument he makes is, well, that wasn't a productive estate anyway. So let them be independent farmers for themselves. And he actually gets them educated. He actually repairs churches and builds buildings rather than talks about it. And he looks at it from a point of self-interest. That's how he says it. And so now we see the person who talks the great ideals, and they do sound great if he could actually do them. But as I said, he's a total fool and he's incompetent. Andre is competent, but he says, I'm not buying into these ideals, but the results he has are actually good. So that's the dichotomy we see here. In a couple days when I have to gas up again,